Welcome back. The new Broadway season kicked off last month with the debut of the Roundabout Theater Company's staging of Harvey, the Pulitzer Prize-winning comedy by Mary Chase, which first arrived on Broadway back in 1944. The play deals with one Elwood P. Dowd, an eccentric yet charming fellow who, much to the dismay of his family, claims to have a close friendship with a 6-foot invisible rabbit named Harvey. Jim Parsons, best known for his Emmy-winning role in the TV series The Big Bang Theory, plays Elwood, and Jessica Hecht, a Tony nominee for her performance in A View from the Bridge in 2010, plays Elwood's troubled sister Vida. I recently got the chance to chat with Parsons and Hecht about Harvey, but before we see that interview, let's take a look at some moments from the show.
I want you to meet Harvey. As you can see, he's a puka. Harvey, you've heard me speak of Mrs. Chauvenet. We always called her Aunt Ethel. She is one of my oldest and dearest friends. Huh? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. She's the one. This is the one. Harvey says he would have known you anywhere.
It won't work. He says to call Harvey to the telephone.
Say Harvey is here but can't come to the telephone. Say he's in the bathtub.
Bathtub?
Say he's in the bathtub and you'll send him over there. That way we'll find out where he is.
Oh, Doctor.
You've got to do this, Mr. Simmons.
Hello, Elwood. Yes, dear. Harvey is here, but he can't come to the telephone. No, he's in the bathtub. Yes, well, I'll send him over as soon as he's dry. Where are you? Oh, but Elwood! Oh!
Did he hang up?
He said Harvey just walked in the door.
Jim Parsons, Jessica Hecht, welcome to On Stage. What a pleasure to have you in, and congratulations on this charming production of Harvey.
Thank you very much.
Now, Jim, let me start with you.
Yes.
You're one of your main co-stars in the world of Elwood is a 6-foot, 3.5-inch rabbit named Harvey, invisible to everyone but you.
Right.
He's a puka, as you call him. Explain what a puka is, and explain how what your process is for developing this relationship with this character that you, Jim,
Can't literally see. Well, first, a puka is in Celtic mythology a kind of fairy spirit that can take on different forms. Anything from like a black horse to I think that's the most common one, a black horse. In this case, it happens to be a 6-foot, 3.5-inch white rabbit. And they're benevolent creatures. Is that the right word? Benevolent? Yeah, they're benevolent. They don't come to cause harm. They come more to have fun is really their thing. Now, as an actor working with this puka, this has been honestly a very great challenge. That I've never had anything like this before, and in a very literal sense of to not have an actual person as a scene partner. Beyond the logistics of where do I look and how fast does he walk from here to there and how do I follow, and beyond any of that, in a very real sense, what's the hardest aspect is that there's nobody, I'm not reacting off of anybody unless I give him something to then react off of. And it makes you so grateful for the other human beings / actors who you do work with on a scene-by-scene basis. Luckily, the director, Scott Ellis, he walked the part a few times, which really helped, like I say, with logistics, like sight lines, and really with timing.
Jessica, you are Elwood's sister, Vida, very troubled by the situation with your brother. And you talked on opening night about how the fact that your parents are psychiatrists, or your dad is a psychiatrist, your mother is a therapist, and so you come from this background that you know a lot about this world, and you talked about how that influenced your take on Vida, who gets into big trouble when she goes to commit her brother to a sanitarium.
I was immediately struck by this state of hysteria that Vida becomes trapped in as a result of her brother. And I don't think it's by mistake that she goes to the sanitarium and that they put her into this tub of water, and then they do this whole hydrotherapy treatment, which was exactly what had been created for hysterical women. And Freud had died that year that the play was written. And so knowing that Mary Chase was deeply intelligent and worldly, so I kind of asked my dad and my mother a little bit about that. And although Vida has this horrific experience going through hydrotherapy, I did ask my father, and I described in detail, you know, the tub and the wrap, and he said, "Oh yeah, that was wonderful," in reference to the fact that they no longer allow that to be done, because it did calm hysterical women. So I just am I'm very keen to the idea in this play that Vida is what somebody would deem as a hysteric of the time.
And here she is in these traumatic circumstances, yet this is such a hysterical comedy. And interestingly enough, Mary Chase had actually written the play. One of the reasons was that she had a widowed neighbor who had lost her son in World War II, and she thought, how can I ever make a woman like this laugh again? Now, what a tall order to have to try to make someone in such tragic circumstances laugh, which made me think along the lines of the challenges of comedy. And I know, Jessica, you had said in an interview that you called this the most tiring of all the plays you've done. So talk a bit about the challenges of comedy itself.
Yeah, I feel, you know, we were just talking about this before, because you always want to be so honest, and I think with this kind of comedy, once you know how it works, you can't simply say, I just want to have my experience every night, and if it's not truthful, I'm not. You actually have to hit the marks, and I find it takes tremendous concentration, and you're devastated if you don't hit the marks, because what do you have to go on in a comedy? If someone's laughing, it's working. If someone isn't laughing, you're kind of thinking, well, could I make this deep? Can I make this? No, you can't really alter the structure. And I find it really exhausting. It's very curious what takes energy from an actor, because people think, oh, you do these big tragedies, and they are exhausting, but they're also, as Audrey Hepburn said, regarding some question about whether or not she went to therapy, she said, no, I get to get it out in my work. Well, in comedy, you don't really get to get it out. You have to give it forth.
Right. We're almost out of time, but I just want to ask one more question. Jim, Elwood is a departure from your role as Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, but they are also both outsiders in a way. So when you are doing a character so consistently on a TV series, and then on a break you go do another character, how much work do you have to do to separate yourself?
Well, it's funny, I feel like there's only so much work you can do. You just have to keep doing. And this is how I felt, at least working on this role this summer with somebody who, for some similarities between them, they have a lot of differences as far as their willingness to connect with people, to literally touch people, and to want to do that. That's not what I played during the other 9 months of the year at all. And I felt it was sort of a chipping away. I felt the 9 months job, Sheldon, was kind of shaking off the more we did it. And even once we were into running the show in previews, and I think it still happens more and more. I think that you can only force that issue so much. I would certainly make distinctive physical choices that was more literally trying to embrace, to try and put me in that mode. But the rest of it, only time will let you fully, get there. And that's the joy of getting to do this 8 times a week, is that you get that many cracks at it.
Yeah. Well, it's a joy to watch you both do it. Such a wonderful production.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.